Welcome to my Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. Welcome to my Asshole Podcast. We have another beautiful Thursday episode for you. Oh man, we're going to be getting into our book, Hooked. We are moving and grooving through this book. Man, am I excited to see what happens next on our girl Wendy's adventures. She has pretty much been hooked. Haha, but I mean, if I'm being honest with you, she's hooked. You know, she's like, this man is making me feel shit I've never thought I could feel before. And he's got her. He's got her big time. And I can't wait to see if, or when Homeboy kills her, if he kills her dad or if he's going to, I don't know. It seems like it's going to happen. Seems like he's plotting and planning something crazy. I'm excited to get into the rest of it. Today we're going to be doing 4 chapters. So we're going to be doing, I believe, 28, 29, 30, and 31. They're pretty quick chapters, so we'll knock those out real quick. And yeah, man, we're almost done with the book, so I am taking book recommendations. So if you do have a book recommendation for us to do next, I am looking into some other books as well. So if there are some books that you want us to go over or read or whatever the case may be on the show, definitely put it down in the comments. Without further ado, though, we're going to get into today's thread. Today's thread is a pretty interesting one. It does have to do with jobs. It is, what non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? Now, I've always heard that the job that has like the most just dating and fucking and all that stuff is amusement parks. That's what I've heard. Specifically Disneyland. I've heard a lot of, I've seen a lot of YouTubers that used to work at Disneyland. I would watch them and stuff. And they're like, yeah, back when I worked at this amusement park or this amusement park, or when I worked for Disney, they were like, yo, there was some stuff going on. So let's see what other, professions are out there with some freaky people. All right. So, what non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? Cruise ship crew. So much banging. Facts. I mean, if you gonna be out on the seas for weeks at a time, you ain't got really nobody going on. And then, the patrons, running around and whatnot, you bound to find somebody. Even if it's not a coworker, you're bound to find somebody. And then all the alcohol that's on there, hell yeah. Come on now. Let's see. All right. Well, what non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? A hairdresser in nursing school. That's insane. Well, I get. I mean, I've always heard nurses. Nurses be, they be a little something. I've always heard that. But a hairdresser, all right. It makes sense because a lot of times hairdressing and stuff like that is attached to barbershops and stuff. And then, it's just, they come in, they cut dude's hair. So it's just like, they might be like, damn, my man's kind of fine, they're kind of like, he a little fine, I mean. All right, what non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? The food service industry. Kitchen staff specifically. Whoa. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. It do make sense, though. Think about it, the cute little server girl and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? You work closely with them all the time, they look at it like he's a good cook, Hey. It could work out. You never know. You know what I mean? You never know. It could definitely work out. And then on top of that, people who work at the Hooters and, Tilted Kilt and all that kind of stuff, where the girls are kind of, dressing a little skimpy. It's like, come on now. You trying to clap. Come on, man. Come on. They specifically hire like attractive girls. So it's like, of course, I'm around attractive girls all the damn time. They're around me all the damn time. So yeah, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna be like, what's up, girl? How you doing? You know, get my number. All right, what non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? The carnival. Really? Well, again, I think it's like the cruise ship where you guys are out on the road for weeks at a time. You know what I mean? There ain't really nobody there. You only really meeting people temporarily, so you can have a lot of flings because it's like, I'm going to be gone tomorrow. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, that's cool. That's chilling. What non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? Actors. I don't mean movie stars like A-listers. I mean the people who you'll never know by name, who have a full-time career of co-star credits on network TV, commercials, regional theater, voiceovers, etc. Working actors are just so horny theater kids with SAG cards. Pretty much. I ain't gonna lie to you. In high school, I dated a theater girl, and they was fucking. Woo, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, everybody is dating everybody. It's one of those, like, they're swingers, but they don't really call themselves swingers. Yeah, that's how I saw it. I was like, I mean, it may have changed now. You know what I mean? Theater kids might not be the same theater kids that I'm thinking of, you know. But I know back when I was in high school, when I dated a girl that was a theater head, everybody was just macking on everybody. I was like, oh, okay, we doing this. It's kind of insane. Won't lie to you. What non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? It took me dating 6 different hairdressers to realize they were all crazy. Come on, man. I think the problem is you, bro. Like, my nigga, I think the problem is you, man. I ain't gonna lie. 6? If it was like 2, then I'd be like, all right, yeah, I can see they a little crazy. 6? Come on, man. Come on now.
Stop the cap.
Hey, you come on, bro. That's 6 of them. I think you're the problem, bro. What non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? Never, ever date the girl who works behind the counter of the pet store. She will fuck up your life faster than 12 nurses and 6 hairdressers combined. This nigga is crazy. What? He said, yo, the girl at the pet store, freak. Absolute freak. Like, she'll gobble that thing up and then ruin your life all in the same day. Damn. Hey, I think that was just a you thing, though. I ain't gonna lie. I think that was just a you thing. Because I've never dated a girl that worked at a pet store, so I don't know. But, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think you're like 6 hairdresser guy. And I think it's you that was the problem. I don't know. What non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? Anything where people trauma bond and are alone for long periods of time together. Nurses, especially ER, firefighters, EMS, police, they have some of the highest percentages of adultery and divorce. Yeah, police. I remember there was a story or scenario that was sent into the show. This was a long time ago. I don't know exactly what episode it was, but it was the guy, and his wife was a police officer as well, and she ended up sleeping with like one of the police officers. And I think it was like her partner or something like that. And she was having this whole affair the whole time, and it was like years long. And then a homeboy have found like nude pictures in her phone and was just like, had confronted her about it, like, who are these, like, what are these, you never sent these to me, this and that, blah blah blah, like, you must be sending them to somebody, you know. And found out that it was her partner. She was banging her partner. I'm like, yo, that's insane, man. So yeah, can corroborate the police one. Yeah. Firefighters, I don't know about that one, because there aren't really a lot of female firefighters. That's predominantly like 99% male. There's like a small percent. I would even say like 0.5% of women are firefighters, if I'm being honest with you. And then obviously nurses, yeah, we know nurses. EMS definitely, and the EMS girls are a little crazy, I know because my buddy dated one. That girl is insane. Like she had a baby with one dude, and then like they broke up, and then like the next partner that she got, she immediately started dating that guy, and I'm like, yo, girl, you're insane. Yeah, no, they some freaks. All right, what non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? Luxury retail. The gays are freaky as shit. I've seen so many butt home photos being flashed around in break rooms. I'm numb to butthole photos now. That's crazy. That's crazy, but I believe it. I believe it. Because I have a gay friend. He's a whore. Because it's one of those things where like we're hanging out, right? Having a good time, maybe we're doing like a little lunch or something like that. And then he's like, oh, hey, like, I'm going to be gone for a little bit. Like, I'm going to have to like leave for an hour, and then I'll be back. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Where are you going? And he's just like, no, I just have to do something. And I'm like, oh, sure. Go ahead, man. Like, do your thing. So, I'll kick it, whatever. Like, we'll finish eating. We'll go back to his house. I'll kick it at his house by myself, mind you, for an hour. He comes back, and then I'm like, so what was all that about? And he was just like, oh, it was just like a quick little grinder meetup. And I'm like, nigga, what? It was a what meetup? Huh? And it's one of those things where it's like, it's so normalized for him. He's just like, oh yeah, it was just a meetup. It was just, oh yeah, it's just, just a casual thing. It is what it is. Like, oh, it was a little thing. I'm like, bro, what? So yeah, no, I believe you. I don't even want to see the butthole, all that. No, I'm good on all that. Hey, thank God I ain't seen all that. But yes, have experienced that. The gays is crazy. Them motherfuckers are wild. All right. What non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? Women in offices of property management companies. Really? Oh. Interesting. Very interesting. Really? I didn't think that they would be getting down like that, but I mean, hey, you never know. They'd be like, hey, like, because I'm sure, I think it's the guys that'd be like, damn, girl, you beautiful. Like, yeah, nigga trying to get some free rent, Because think about it. Like, a lot of these property managers, majority of them live on the property and they live for free. They don't pay rent. They just pay utilities. And so, if you find a cute one, yeah, and you bag her a little bit, you move into her spot, rent free. Rent free is playing the system. So, hey, if you need a little cheat code out there, go ahead and find you a cute little property manager thing, talk her up a little bit, move into her spot. Rent free, baby. Rent free. So I can see it. What non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? Sales. In all my years working in sales, it's full of hyper-motivated, hyper-aggressive, horny as fuck men and women. Everybody is doing drugs and banging and stressed to the gills. It's basically the rock star lifestyle. Everyone I know that did sales obviously eventually went to more normal sales adjacent roles like accounting management or acquisitions. But yeah. Even when I met old men and women in sales and tell them I did it for like 10 years, they make this face and it's like being welcomed into a secret club. That's crazy. It makes sense though. Like if you need a mate quota and all that kind of stuff, and then, I'm sure for the women, they look at it like, damn, all these dudes are making bank for one. For two, these dudes are ambitious as fuck. You know what I mean? So they're like, yeah, I'm down. What's up, Chad? What's going on with you? What's up, Tyrone? How you been? It makes sense though. It very does make sense because, if you're the type of girl that's looking for a dude who's got like a really high work ethic, he's making good money, that's the environment to be, Makes sense. What's a non-sexual profession that has the freakiest employees? I'm a personal trainer, and I swear some of the things I hear at the gym is something else. A lot of men enjoy their prostate milked. I'm a female, by the way. What? So she's been propositioned to have a man get on all fours. She sticks her finger in the butt and milks the man's mushroom tip. That's insane. Wow. Don't do steroids, kids. That's insane. I guess. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I've always heard that, like, female trainers, you know, they get around just because obviously it's one of those things where they're around, you know, a bunch of good looking, in shape dudes. You know, she's in shape herself. I'm sure she gets hit on a lot. So it's one of those things where it's just like, hey, you know, why have a boyfriend? Like, boyfriends walk through the door every single day. You know what I mean? She looks at it like, shit, the fuck am I gonna have just one? You know, you motherfuckers come to me. I'm getting paid. Like, why the hell not? So I have heard that because I do have a friend. He's a personal trainer, and he tells me all the time. He's like, bro, a lot of the girls that I work with, you know, they some hoes, man. They some hoes, and I'm just like, I see why. Just because attractive dudes come in, they hit on them, they pretend to be clients. You know, it's the game. It's the game. You know, and it's the other way around too. You know, the girls that be asking for help, you know, because he's in good shape and whatnot, and they be like, oh, I need help, whatnot. You know, they be trying to, you know, put their booty on his dick and whatnot. And I'll be telling them, I'm like, hey, get it, bro, you know, get it, shit. What non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? Doctors. The women doctors have some of the craziest stories I've ever heard. During my rotation earlier this year, one of the radiologists got loose with a couple of us and one day let stories fly on how she used to attend orgy parties when she was a resident and do blow and party, have sex with randoms every other weekend. I couldn't believe it. She was like 5'3", cute, maybe late 40s woman. I couldn't believe it. And she said a lot of her co-residents, friends were on the same crazy shit like that as well. Facts. I mean, because you got to realize, they are on the clock all day, every day. And they're just like, bro, I'm not trying to go on a date with you. I'm not trying to talk to you. I'm just trying to get some dick. Like, get the fuck out of here, you know? And it makes sense. Makes sense. She's like, I'm just trying to skip the pleasantries and all the bullshit and get straight to the fun, you know? Because after this, I got to go right back to work. You know? They look at it like they get clapped up and they're like, cool, got to go back to work. Peace, man. You know, that's insane. That's insane. Woo. If you thought your job had some freaky people, some other these jobs, man, they be having some wild motherfuckers. Wild. It's one of those, like, you don't really know a person until you get to know a person, you know. Woo. God damn. All right, we're going to do like 2 more and then we'll hop into our book. What non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? I know teachers and those in the media. Also any profession that travels, pilot, flight attendant, trucker, etc. I have a flight attendant friend and another friend that has a corporate job that has him traveling every 4 to 6 months. And both tell me stories. Makes sense since the opportunity is there. Both being away and even single people finding their kinks, either exploring it elsewhere geographically or tracking to somewhere else. It's more prevalent living in a small conservative town and getting a chance to travel to a large city. Well, it makes sense because, for one, you're on the road. 2, you're never going to see this person again. So it's like, who cares? You know what I mean? Who cares if you sleep with this person? Because, for one, nobody's going to know. 2, they're gone. You'll never see them again. You don't ever have to talk to them. So it's not awkward. You don't got to run into them at the grocery store, at the local Stop and Shop. You're like, oh, hey. You know what I mean? Like, might as well. And truckers sometimes, bro, they be having whole other families in different states. That shit's insane. I knew one trucker dude who had a family in California, and then he had a family in Utah. And they didn't know about each other. And dude was open about it, too. He would talk about it. He's like, oh, yeah, my wife in Utah, you know. And because he had a daughter and a wife out in Utah. And then he had a wife and 2 sons in what's the name, in California. And I'm like, bro, what? And he was openly talking about it. He's like, oh yeah, and, here's my daughter and my wife, blah 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 blah. And then they're like, wait a minute, we was at the function and you had 2 sons and a wife. Where's your daughter? And who the fuck is this bitch? And they're like, oh no, that's my Utah family. Like whenever I drive out to Utah, that's who I stay with. And I'm like, yo, my nigga's insane. He is insane. Hey, it teach its own. You know what I mean? If I had like a big traveling job like that, I probably would too. Because why not? All right, this will be our last one, and then we'll get into the book. Let's see. Blah blah blah. Okay, what non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? Just an FYI to people, yes, it's true about nurses, but most of the ones on OF are fake. Okay, all right. Never mind, we'll do a different one. Let me see. Damn, a lot of them are nurses. Oh, yes. What non-sex profession has the freakiest employees? Those in the Olympics. Yes. And we know this for a fact because some people go to the Olympics. And it's mainly girls because this doesn't really work for dudes. It can, but it mainly works for girls. But there was a girl on TikTok that she went to the Olympics the last time they had the Olympics. And I think it was 2021, right? Is when they had the Olympics. I'm not 100% sure. But the last time they had the Olympics, she went out there, went on Tinder, and most of the athletes are on Tinder. And so she was just matching with the athletes, meeting up with them, having drinks, fucking all that stuff. And I'm like, whoa, okay. I mean, again, with a high stress, high level thing, you want to let off some steam, man. Get on Tinder real quick, bang a little rando, be straight chilling. It's crazy though. It is insane. Yeah, when I saw that video, I was like, oh. And then a lot of these girls, they're looking to kind of bank on a dude who might hit it big in the Olympics. Because obviously, if you remember the last Olympics, that pole vaulter, that, homeboy had a pole in his pants. Yeah, that, man, I bet all the girls were hitting his Tinder. They were like, I need to test drive that meat. I need to test drive that meat. I got to see what's up with that. Hey, I don't know. All right, that's going to be the end of that thread, though. If you guys have a profession that is non-sexual, that they just got some freak leaks, or if we covered them all, let me know down in the comments. Appreciate you getting down there, man. We're going to hop through announcements, and then we'll get to our 4 chapters of the book. So, patreon.com/Am I the Asshole podcast. Get an exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday shows. $3 a month, man. Get you that exclusive stuff, baby. And we will be doing our free Patreon episode tomorrow, so look out for that. And if you're a little iffy about the Patreon, you don't know, like, maybe, I don't know, definitely check that episode out tomorrow, and you'll be able to get a little glimpse of what Patreon's got going on for you, all right? So, audio listeners, keep downloading the podcast as well as rating us 5 stars on your preferred listening platform. I appreciate that so much, and it's all free, baby. It's all free, and it helps out the channel. And if you want to help out even more on the free 99 side of things, go ahead and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Subscribe to us on YouTube. All of that is free, and it helps out so much. It just takes one button. All the links are down in the description. If you haven't gotten caught up with Hooked so far, I do have playlists down in the description for you guys. Don't worry. You can get caught up, all that good stuff. So if you're finding us just now, don't worry. You don't have to look through all my videos and all that kind of stuff. Just go in the description, find either the Spotify Hooked All Chapters link, or you can find the YouTube Hooked All Chapters link. They're down there for your leisure. Spotify does not update as fast as YouTube. Spotify usually updates 2 days after the episode comes out. Why? I don't know. Spotify is just very laggy when it comes to that stuff. So, but it will update. But YouTube updates immediately, so if you want to catch the episode right away, definitely YouTube is the place to go. But I know you people love Spotify because you're listening in the car or you're at work or whatever the case may be, and so you just want to turn your phone off, pop a earbud in, and just listen. Don't worry, Spotify has got you. It just does take a day or two sometimes to get the episode on there, because it'll upload onto the channel, like the podcast page, right away. But with the playlist is where it takes a little while to update. So if you catch it on a Thursday, I'm talking for the people who don't catch it on the Thursday, you know what I mean? Maybe you're catching it a couple days later or whatever the case may be. But yeah, so either one, it's all up to you guys. But yeah, love you guys. Appreciate all the support you've been showing. Let's get into our book for today. I'm excited to see what Wendy's got going on. Wendy's got going on. And let's see what our boy Hook, let's see what our boy James has got cooking, you know what I mean? Let's see what he's got cooking for us.
"28. Wendy. My wrists are bound again, only this time they're actual handcuffs instead of heavy shackles. I stare down at the metal, fingers twisting in my lap, before looking over at Curly in the driver's side of the car. "You didn't have to handcuff me. It's not like I'll run." Curly's face remains stoic, as if he can't hear me speak at all. He's been like this ever since I spit in his face, but I don't regret it, and there's nothing I have left to say to him anyway. Nothing I have left to say to any of them. I close my eyes and lean my head against the window, allowing the rays of the sun to soak through the glass and into my skin. There's a constant heaviness that lives inside me now, but in this moment, I grasp onto the little bit of relief at finally being in the light. I have no idea how much time has actually passed, but when you're stuck in the dark with nothing but your thoughts, a second feels like a century. My brain was scrambling like eggs, the isolation turning into a mental torture chamber. Nothing but my thoughts and emotions to keep me company, so I started sitting in the middle of the room and trying my hand at meditation. I'm not sure if I've been doing it right, but it seems to calm the panic down. Allows time to pass in a way that doesn't make me feel as though I'm losing my grip on sanity. It was during one of these introspective moments that I realized some of my pain isn't new. It's just fresh scratches on old scars. Hook is another person in the line of people who think they can tell me what to do, who cut me down with words, tell me to sit and stay, expecting me to bite my tongue and smile. And it's true. It's what I've been doing my whole life. Never standing up for myself, swallowing down the insults from friends and the belittling moments from my father as if it were my cross to bear. But I'm tired of being told to heal. The car turns into the marina, and my stomach twists as I remember the last time I was here. It was only days ago, yet somehow it feels like I was an entirely different person, one who still viewed the world and all the people in it as inherently good. But the rose-colored glasses were stripped off my face in a millisecond, leaving nothing but shades of gray behind. Curly parks the car and moves to my side in a flash, opening the door and lifting me by the arm before he unlocks my cuffs. "Don't do anything stupid." As if I'd be dumb enough to put my brother in danger. I follow behind him, down the docks and to the ostentatious tiger lily at the end of the marina, watching as Smee mops the sun deck and 3 white birds fly overhead. The sun is shining, and the water is sparkling and crystal blue. Everything is normal, beautiful even, like my entire world hasn't been flipped, twisted, and dropped upside down. Like I wasn't seduced, drugged, kidnapped, and held in a stone basement. Despair creeps through me as I realize that I really am at the mercy of Hook's whims. He called himself my master, and at least until I formulate a plan that keeps my family safe, he's right. "Move it, sunshine, let's go." Curly's hand pushes the back of my shoulder, and even though my legs feel like lead, somehow, I force them to move, stepping onto the boat. He doesn't follow, just stands on the sidewalk, his arms crossed and his eyes narrowed, as if he's expecting me to do something crazy like jump off the side and try to get away. Maybe I should, but I can't swim, and I'm not stupid enough to think that I'd be successful. Smee waves, and my eyes take him in, his boyish face and his bright red beanie making him look innocent as a lamb. My lips purse. I'm not sure how much he knows, but I'm done with putting my trust in people who haven't earned it. My stomach sloshes with nerves, hands shaking as I reach out and open the door, stepping into the living room and glancing around. Empty. Moving my way slowly throughout the cabin, I stop in front of the kitchen island, steps away from where the knives are sitting pretty, right next to the wood cutting board. My mind whirls 100 miles a minute. The urge to grab one is strong, but I need to be smart, and the thought of what Hook will do if he finds me with a weapon makes my heart drop to the floor, a chill racing through my veins. I frown at the knives as gruesome images of how he'd kill me play through my mind. "I wouldn't if I were you." The voice makes my stomach jump, and I spin around, coming face to face with a blue-eyed devil. Hook. He inclines his head. "You can still call me James if you wish." My jaw tightens and I cross my arms. "I don't wish." He nods. "Very well. This way." His hand comes to rest on my back, and it sends a shiver coasting through me. Resentment coiling at the base of my spine for the way my body reacts to his touch. He moves us down the hallway and holds open the door to his room, allowing me to enter first before following behind. I lay eyes on his king bed with silk sheets and a fluffy burgundy comforter, the aches from sleeping on a cold stone floor flaring to life, making my bones weep. "There are fresh towels in the washroom, and I've had a dress delivered." My lips turn down, glancing at him from my peripheral. "How do you know my size?" He smirks. "I have a very hands-on memory." My cheeks heat, disgust curling inside me. He took my virginity. I let him basically strangle me half to death, and I trusted him to keep me safe. Pathetic Wendy. "What do you want from me?" I ask. "What did I do to deserve this? I don't—" The words catch on the swelling in my throat, my hand coming up to cover my mouth. His eyes flatten as he stalks toward me. I jerk on instinct, the back of my legs hitting the edge of his bed, making me stumble and bounce off the mattress. I scramble up, leaning on my elbows as my gaze meets his. He hovers over me, but it's not sensual like a lover. It's intimidating, his energy whipping around him like a lightning storm, making my hair stand on end. He's so close, I can taste his breath as if it were my own. "What I want," he whispers against my lips, "is for you to stop playing me for a fool." He presses in further, his eyes swirling with emotion. "What I want is to bring souls back from the dead and let them feast on your father's screams." His nose runs along the length of my neck and I suck in a breath, my heart pumping so fast it makes my head spin. "Can you give me any of those things, Wendy, darling?" My middle squeezes tight. How could I forget? This isn't about me at all. It's about my father. "You knew who he was?" I blurt out. "This whole time?" His lips twitch and he backs away, the fire in his eyes disappearing as fast as it came. "Did you know who I was?" The question burns my throat, tears blurring my vision. "Of course." He picks invisible lint from his sleeve. "I knew who you were the moment you walked into my bar." My fractured heart cracks from the sudden pressure in my chest. Of course he did. Nodding, a grim type of acquiescence settles into my veins. It's thick and wet, like deep mud, and I know the more I struggle, the further I'll sink. I think I'd like to take a shower now. His brows lift as he points to the bathroom. I stand up and move inside the room, closing the door behind me. My fingers grip the metal handle, my head resting against the cool wood of the frame. I hold my breath until my lungs cry for air, and even then, I don't let it out, afraid that once I do, I'll scream. I'm confused, my emotions tugging me in 1,000 different directions. I don't know whether I'm stupid for not making a break for it, or if I'm smart for trying to make a plan. I have no idea if after tonight I'll get thrown back into the dark and cold stone room, or if he's just going to kill me once and for all. That would definitely send my father a message. And then there's the guilt. And that, on top of everything else, is the strongest. It splits through my stomach and reaches up my chest, clawing its way through my insides until it attaches to my throat. Because I feel so goddamn relieved to be here. To take a shower, to breathe in fresh air, to have human interaction, even if it's with the person responsible for everything. And what kind of person does that make me? To feel grateful for the good when the source is a man threatening everyone I love. Everything will be fine. A memory of leaving John at Rockford Prep flies into my head. Hook's words, although he was James to me then, play on a loop. Just remember that whenever things feel bleak, all situations are temporary. It's not your circumstance that determines your worth. It's how you rise from the ashes after everything burns.
29. James.
Will she be staying tonight, sir? I can make up the guest room if she is.
I look over to where Smee is standing in the kitchen drinking from a mug of tea. Cocking my head, I take a sip from my own cup, the liquid singeing my tongue as I swallow. Why would you assume she'd be staying anywhere other than in my bed? His eyes widen the slightest bit, and curiosity sneaks through my thoughts at his sudden interest.
No reason. I just thought I'd offer.
He walks to the kitchen sink, placing his cup in the basin before spinning around to lean against the lip.
I won't be around tonight, and I didn't want to leave you with a setup is all. I know how you like your own space.
I lift my chin, my gaze soaking up his mannerisms. He seems on edge, almost like he's uncomfortable that she's here. Big plans? I ask. I've never taken an interest in Smee's personal life, and quite honestly, I still don't care. But talking to him is a distraction from the girl locked in my room, and I find myself craving a break from the anger that surfaces whenever I see her face or think her name. Smee grins, running a hand through his hair, the kitchen lights glinting off his dark brown strands.
You could say that.
Well, I appreciate your hospitality, however, it won't be necessary. I'm undecided on what to do with her after the gala. Part of me wants to throw her back in the JR's basement and let her rot. It's no less than what she deserves. The other part wants to tie her to my bed and use other means of forcing the truth out of her. It infuriates me that she still acts as though she's innocent, like she has no idea what she's done. No matter. I'll be able to tell a lot from the way she interacts with her father this evening. I sent the twins ahead, ensuring that our plates were at the guest of honour's table, and I can't wait to see what's on the menu. Loud knocks pound from down the hallway, and I smirk, draining the last of my tea and placing it back on the counter. Smee's eyes widen as he looks toward the noise and then back at me.
Is she stuck in there?
I stand, buttoning the jacket of my tuxedo and walking past him, pausing to squeeze his shoulder, the muscle tensing under my palm. What I do with my toys is none of your concern, Smee. His eyes go flat, and he inclines his head.
Apologies, boss man.
I wave him off, smiling. Forgotten. My hand slips into my pocket, retrieving the skeleton key as I walk to my bedroom door. The banging is loud, the force of Wendy's knocking making the wood rattle against the hinges. I slide the metal into the lock, the door clicking as Wendy's flushed face greets me, her fist poised halfway in the air. The corner of my lip lifts. Is everything all right? You sound awfully frustrated. The ruddiness of her cheeks makes a vision of her beneath me flash before my mind, and arousal spears through my middle. I shake off the thought and glance down her form, the dress I had Moira pick out, hugging her every curve. She looks stunning. The picture of grace and poise, a powder blue fabric with a sweetheart neck and an open back, sophisticated enough to be seen on my arm, yet ravishing enough that every man will wish he could have her. My perfect little pet. She grits her teeth. You locked me in there. A precautionary measure. I stare at her for a few more moments, drinking her in like fine wine, remembering what it felt like to be inside of her. Blood rushes to my cock, making it jerk against my leg. She puts her arms out to her sides. Well, do I pass your approval? Frustration wells in my chest at my constant attraction to such a conniving wench. I force it from my mind, replacing it with the black mass that's been burning the fragments of my soul ever since Rue's death. The death I'm wholly convinced she was part of. My eyes narrow, vines of anger wrapping around my muscles like ivy. You'll suffice, I say. She scoffs and I turn my back. Come along, it won't do to be late. Her heels clack behind me on the polished wood floor, and I resist the urge to look back, keeping my focus on the fact that she's a traitor. She's out of her mind if she believes I buy her obedience ploy. It's a mistake to underestimate me, thinking I'll fall for such petty, silly tricks. Which is why I had to bring her brother Jonathan into the fray. I don't particularly like using children as bait, and in all truth, I don't plan on actually harming the boy. I didn't even make a true phone call. But the quickest way to acquiescence is to hit someone where they're most vulnerable, and Wendy has a soft spot for family. The ride to the convention centre is silent. Wendy's fingers twist together as she stares out the window, her face drawn and sullen. I sit across from her in the limo, hatred mixing with lust like a volatile cocktail, sparks flying through my body, making me vibrate with an energy that makes me feel as if I'm on the edge of combustion. I find it extremely irritating that I'm not able to control my body's reaction to her. I was blinded by lust the first time around, both for her and the thought of my enemy's daughter choking on my cum. Truthfully, that idea still appeals to me. Only now my eyes are wide open, and they'll never shut again. I let her get too close, became too relaxed even in that short amount of time. Most likely because I never truly viewed her as a threat. I don't suppose I need to remind you what will happen if you misbehave tonight, I ask as the limo pulls to the curb. Her eyes narrow. I've been going to functions like this since I could walk. I don't need a pep talk. I can feel her ire all the way across the car, and it does nothing but fuel the flames. That may be so, I respond, leaning forward, but now you are walking on a leash, pet, so don't do anything that forces my hand. I rise from my seat, moving next to her as I reach in my pocket and pull out a thin velvet case. Her body cowers against the limo door, as if even being near me is too much for her to bear. My fingertips trail along her neck, pushing her silky hair to the side. You will not try to escape. I open the case, a whoosh of breath leaving her as she takes in the diamond-encrusted choker. You will not say or do anything that could raise concern. I slip it from the box, the gems cool against my hand, and I lean forward, placing it around her neck, my fingers tracing her skin as I fasten it in the back. My eyes flick from her lips to her throat. a shot of desire pooling low in my abdomen. There. My hand brushes over the jewels before resting on the swell of her cleavage, my palm rising and falling with her heavy breaths. Every good bitch needs a pretty collar. She rips her head away, gazing out of the window. I grip her chin in my hand, turning her face back. You will not, under any circumstances, take that necklace off. Do you understand? Her jaw clenches. I understand. Excellent. I signal to the driver that we're ready to leave, and the door opens for me to stand. I exit the limo, turning around and reaching back into the car. Wendy's fingers tickle my palm as she places her hand in mine, and I lift her up and into my arms. At the same moment, flashes of light go off from the cameras lining the red carpet. Wrapping my arm around her waist, I tug her in close, watching as she transforms in front of my very eyes. Her face lights up, a megawatt smile gracing her features, her eyes warm as she gazes up into mine. My heart skips, revulsion following closely behind, because once again my body is out of control when it comes to her. I lean in, my nose inhaling the scent of her hair. Be a good girl, and I'll let you sleep in a bed instead of on a stone floor. Her spine stiffens underneath my hand, and she grins up at me, but her eyes hold something cold and dark. Lead the way, master. As we walk inside, my stomach flips and twists in knots, anticipation flooding through my veins. I'm so close, I can feel it on my tongue, and it tastes like vengeance.
30. Wendy. The way Hook speaks to me curdles my insides like sour milk. Even though I despise what he's done, having his insults rain down like knives is a painful type of torture. It slices into my veins and bleeds me dry, leaving me brittle like fallen leaves. My fingers tangle in the choker, wondering why he told me not to take it off. It's beautiful, but I can't imagine its importance goes far beyond its worth. And knowing I don't even have control over what I'm wearing is another slash against my newfound pride. The heat of Hook's palm sears my hip as we walk into the main ballroom. It's beautiful, as these events usually are. Chandeliers drenched in crystals and tables set for kings. But I'm not impressed. I wasn't lying when I told him I'd been to 1,000. My father has deep pockets, and that makes him a renowned guest at many charity functions. I wonder if he'll be here. The thought is fleeting as it whispers across my mind, but I grab onto it and hold tight, hope flaring in my chest for the first time in days. We make our way through the tuxedos and ball gowns until we reach the open bar. Hook ordering a whiskey neat for himself and passing me a glass of champagne. I take a sip, relishing in the way the bubbles fizz and pop on my tongue. Normally, I don't like the way alcohol makes me feel, but I'm going to need something to keep the fake smile on my face.
Happy birthday, by the way.
He clinks his glass to mine.
You'll forgive me for being a few days late. I was rather preoccupied.
A sharp jab of anger punches me in the chest. How do you know that? He smiles, setting his whiskey on the bar.
You'd be surprised at how much I know.
What's that mean?
That means whatever I want it to mean.
He leans in, his eyes turning cold.
I know of your birth, Wendy Michaels.
His lips press against my cheek.
And I'll know of your death.
My heart spasms, free falling to the floor. Is that a threat? He sighs, backing away.
I find threats to be terribly wasteful. I only speak of things I intend to see through.
Anger at this entire situation burns me from the inside out. If you're going to kill me anyway, why should I bother being your obedient bitch? I realize a second too late how loud my voice is, how well it carried across the room. His hand moves fast, wrapping around my neck and jerking me into him. To anyone else, we must look like lovers in a passionate embrace, but all I feel is nausea and panic sloshing through my stomach and surging to my throat.
Be very careful what you say next.
His grip loosens.
You're a bleeding heart, darling. It's not your own life you should be worried about.
My face drops, teeth grinding so hard I'm afraid I'll break a molar. He turns slightly, beaming at a couple that's walking toward us.
Perk up, dear. It's showtime.
Commissioner, so good to see you.
His voice melts in the air like rich chocolate, tempting and sinful.
And your beautiful wife. Hello again, Linda. Always a pleasure.
He leans in and kisses her cheek before reaching my way, wrapping an arm around my waist.
This is my date, Wendy Michaels.
I nod, smiling so wide my cheeks hurt. The man grins, his bushy blonde mustache twitching.
Wendy Michaels, as in Peter's daughter?
He chuckles, looking to Hook.
How'd you bag this one? She seems a little out of your price range.
My chest sears from the insult. Linda giggles.
Oh, darling, don't be rude.
I expect Hook to laugh, but he doesn't, his body tightening as he tilts his head.
I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean, Reginald. Are you insinuating something about me?
He points to himself.
Or about who I choose to have on my arm?
The air thickens as the grin drops from the commissioner's face. The tension lingers as Hook stares him down.
A gentleman knows when to apologize after insulting a lady.
His brows rise. My heart kicks against my ribs, my eyes volleying between them. Reginald clears his throat, his gaze resting on me.
I apologize, Miss Michaels. I meant no disrespect.
My eyes widen, disbelief turning my stomach as I realize just how much power Hook really has. If he's able to speak to the police commissioner this way, how can I ever expect to be free? The commissioner shifts on his feet, glancing around.
Rue's still avoiding these things like the plague, I take it?
Hook's body stiffens, his grip tightening around my waist until I fidget, a small whimper escaping me. He looks down, his fingers stroking where he pinched.
I'm afraid Rue took a very sudden and permanent vacation.
He clips, his neck muscles straining like he had to force the words from his throat. Linda sighs.
That sounds lovely. I've been trying to get Reginald to retire for some time.
The commissioner is staring at Hook, wrinkles forming between his brows.
That's a real shame, he says slowly. I had a meeting with him next week about a possible donation.
Hook gives a thin smile, his Adam's apple bobbing.
I'm afraid you'll have to reschedule and meet with me.
The commissioner nods, sucking on his teeth.
Well, Rue is always someone who...
My ears go fuzzy as Hook's fingers knead the curve of my hip, his arm wrapping me in closer to his side. I look up at him, wondering if he even realizes what he's doing. His jaw muscle ticks, but his eyes stay locked on Reginald and his wife. I'm not sure what makes me do it, and I'm sure at the end of the night, when I'm forced back into the reality of my situation, I'll regret it. But I reach up, my hand rubbing his arm.
Darling, my feet are getting tired. Do you think you can show me to our seats?
Hook's gaze lands on me, his brows jumping to his hairline and his eyes softening. He picks up my hand with his, bringing it to his mouth, skimming his lips across the back.
Of course, sweetheart.
Shivers dance up my arm, traitorous butterflies fluttering in my stomach. What is wrong with me? He nods to the couple.
Commissioner, Linda, if you'll excuse us.
My gut flips as we walk, nerves making my limbs tremble, wondering whether he's going to be angry that I interrupted his chat. What was I thinking?
I'm sorry,
I mutter as we reach the table. You looked uncomfortable, and he kept going on, and I... Hook pulls out a chair for me to sit, leading me into it with his finger pressed against my lips.
Hush.
My mouth snaps closed, unease worming its way through me like a snake. I've never experienced as much anxiety in my life as I do around him. Most of the time, his personality is calm waters, still and sparkling and as clear as glass. But a single drop can disrupt the entire surface, and you never know when the rain will hit. I glance around at the few other people sitting at the table. In the past, I've known most everyone at these events. But this is Massachusetts, not Florida, so all of these people are strangers. None of them are paying any attention to me, anyway. It's him they all have their eyes on, and I don't blame them. Even knowing what he's capable of, knowing what he's done to me, there's a certain type of feeling that comes along with being on the arm of the most powerful man in the room. I wish I could ignore it, but it's there whether I want it to be or not. The same way that I can't shake off the conversation between him and the commissioner. I've never seen Hook rattled before, and this rattled him. I try to push the thought from my mind, knowing I shouldn't give a damn. But I do. Before he showed his true colors, I was falling for him. Or for the version he presented, anyway. And feelings don't just go away. They merely shift and change as your soul breaks, molding themselves into the cracks. My feelings for Hook may be mangled and unrecognizable, but that doesn't mean they've disappeared. I met Rue, didn't I? I ask, unable to stop the words from leaping off my tongue. His fingers pause from where they're drumming on the table.
You did.
It's nice he got to retire. Hook's face snaps to mine. His hand shoots out, gripping underneath my seat and pulling, my chair dragging loudly across the wood floor. I gasp, the air cold as it flows down my throat, clashing with the heat wave of embarrassment rising through my chest. His nose brushes mine, the intensity of his glare freezing me into place.
I don't know what game you're playing, he whispers, but it stops now. I suggest you don't test me.
My heart stutters. I'm not playing any games. He breathes in deep, his gaze flickering from my eyes to my mouth, then back, energy crackling in the space between us. And then he looks past me and his entire demeanor changes. I jump when his palm lands on my thigh underneath the table, squeezing in a bruising grip.
Remember what's at stake.
I scoff, anger brewing in my gut. As if I'd forget.
Wendy?
31. James. Wendy twists in her seat, coming face to face with Peter. "Dad!" she gasps. She starts to rise from her chair, and my grip on her thigh tightens, holding her in place. She turns to me, her brows drawing in, and I cock my head, meeting her gaze and holding it. It's obvious when realization hits. Her eyes dim and her lips turn. She looks from me to her father, and then over to Tina, who's standing there gawking in a sparkly green dress with gold trim. Peter's face is a mask of confusion, his forehead wrinkling as he gazes between us. I move my hand from Wendy's thigh, draping my arm along the back of her chair. This is the moment he'll realize that their little plan didn't work. That even though they took Rue from me, I still have her. She didn't get away. "Peter," I greet. "What a pleasure." His lip curls. "Hook." "I'd make introductions, but I'm quite sure you're already well acquainted." He stands still, his features frozen, until waiters bringing out salad force him to move. He clears his throat, pressing his hand against Tina's back and moving her toward their seats. Wendy's body deflates. I look at her with a wide grin. "That's right, pet. Game over. Nobody plays against me and comes out with the upper hand. The servers drop off the salad dishes, and I pick up my fork, excitement thrumming through my veins as I spear a cherry tomato, reveling in the way Wendy fidgets and Peter glares. Leaning in, my arms still on the back of her chair, I place the fork in front of Wendy's mouth. Hungry? She presses her lips together, shaking her head. I place it in my own mouth, the juices and seeds exploding on my tongue. I hum. I do love popping a good cherry. I grin at Peter, my arm dropping from the chair onto Wendy's shoulders, my fingers tracing her bare skin. Wendy goes stiff as a board underneath me, her gaze trained on her plate. She's suspiciously quiet, the brazen girl that's been in my basement suddenly disappearing in her father's presence. I find that it irritates me more than it should. Wendy, Peter sighs, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be at the mansion? His eyes peer around the table. We have everyone's attention, and it's delicious, knowing he wants to make a scene but can't act out. But that's the difference between Peter and me. He has to operate within the constraints of civil society, while I make sure to pad their pockets and dance outside of their edges. Wendy's head snaps up at his question, her knuckles whitening as they grip her fork. What do you mean, at the mansion? Tina's hand reaches out to rest on Peter's forearm, Wendy's jaw setting at the movement. Interesting. I think what your father is trying to say, Tina starts, is that this is the last place we'd expect you to be. Her eyes glance over to mine. And with the last person. I open my mouth to speak, but Wendy beats me to it, my hand falling from her shoulder as she leans forward, her eyes spitting lasers. And why would it be so surprising to see me here? Because I wasn't given express permission? Peter clears his throat. Little shadow. Wendy's glare cuts to him, and arousal rolls through me at her ire. Maybe you don't remember, Dad, but I used to come to these frequently with you. Peter glances around, all eyes on the outburst of his daughter. And for the record, Wendy continues, her cheeks growing rosy, I've never needed nor cared about Tina's opinion on anything, especially concerning where she expects me to be. Tina's mouth gapes open. I smirk at Wendy's outburst, heat swarming my body from how attractive she is when she's swirling in rage. Didn't you care to know where I was when your new security didn't find me? My hand moves to rest on the back of her choker, my fingers slipping underneath the clasp and tugging as a reminder to watch her mouth. Peter's eyebrows raise. Is that what this is? You running away because you didn't like that I was trying to provide you protection? Wendy scoffs, stabbing the lettuce with her fork. Control your date, Tina hisses at me. I grin, leaning back against my chair. Now, why would I want to do that? This is a delightful turn of events. I hadn't expected her to be so upset with him. Wendy, this isn't the time or the place. Peter's voice is sharp, commanding, as if he's chastising a child. Do we need to go somewhere and speak in private? Her eyes flick to me. I don't move, wanting to see what she'll do if given the opportunity. She lifts her chin, inhaling deeply and shaking her head. No, we have nothing left to say. Pleasure at her obedience trickles through me like a leaky faucet, and I have to remind myself that she isn't someone who I should reward for being good. She's a traitor. Although it's odd the way she's interacting with her father, as if they aren't on good terms. His eyes stay on hers for long moments, something unspoken passing between them before Tina cuts in. So, how did you two meet? She waves her champagne glass between us. I take a sip of whiskey. Because you sent her into my bar, you pathetic swine. He already told you, didn't he? Wendy cocks her head. He popped my cherry. Gasps sound around the table, and I choke on the liquid of my drink, my hand shooting to my chest to stifle the cough. Wendy, Peter hisses. She smiles wide. What is it, Dad? Suddenly deciding to care again? Confusion slams into me. I understand her anger at him not knowing that she was gone. Honestly, the thought of it does rankle a bit, but I can't imagine what she's getting out of this. They were already working together to destroy me. It shouldn't be a surprise that we've met. Unless they had no idea. My stomach cramps, my bruised heart twisting at the notion. I think the more important question, Wendy continues, is how did you two meet? She points her fork at her father, and then to me. Peter steeples his hands in front of his mouth, leaning back in his chair. Nothing exciting there. We've met briefly for business. I chuckle, the tips of my fingers caressing the side of Wendy's neck, my insides tightening with every pass against the choker. My brand of ownership. And a GPS tracker, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, don't be so modest, Peter, I quip. We've more than met. In fact, I believe you were well acquainted with those I'm closest with. Seems only fair I return the favour. The corners of Peter's eyes tighten as he nods, his lips breaking apart to show his gleaming white teeth. Yes, that's true. He looks around. And where are they tonight? My body stiffens, rage spiralling through me like a windstorm. Wendy's face snaps toward mine, her eyes trailing up and down before they go back to her father, narrowing the slightest bit. She drops her fork and the noise of it, clanking against the dish, grates against my eardrums. Her hand reaches out, pressing against my chest and rising until her palm cups my jaw. The shock of her touch is enough to clear the red haze filming over my eyes. She leans in, pressing a kiss to my cheek. Take a deep breath. People are starting to stare, she whispers. My lungs expand as I collect myself. Wendy sits back and pins her father with a look. What is that supposed to mean? My chest pulls tight at her question, because again, if she was part of Peter's plan, she would know exactly what that meant. Wendy, it was a simple question, Peter sighs. That's quite all right, I smile as I pull Wendy in close, my hand smoothing down her hair. I've found much more enticing company. Peter's jaw tightens and he leans in, his eyes pleading with his daughter. You have no idea who you're sitting next to. Her jaw stiffens. I know exactly who he is. It's you I'm beginning to question. My heart stutters, his phrase cementing what I've been theorizing for the past few minutes. She doesn't know about her father. And that means she never betrayed me at all.
All right. Well, woo! Boy, is it getting a little juicy. Oh, man. We found out, honestly, perfect cliffhanger. It'll keep y'all motherfuckers coming back. You'll come back next week, I'm sure. Because, that was a bombshell. You know, and then you can kind of see like this little high society combat that's kind of going on. And it's weird how her dad is just like, not cool with what's going on, but he understands like, all right, well, I guess you chose a rich man at least. I'm excited to see what goes on. It's crazy how Wendy is kind of like, it's not like Adeline, where Adeline kind of knew what was going on to some degree. But with Wendy, she don't know what the fuck's going on. She's just like, la da da. You know what I mean? Like, she don't know what's going on her dad's side of this or on James's side of this. So, I wonder if the bombshell's going to break on it. I honestly think this dude's more unhinged than Zayd was. If I'm being honest with you, this dude is insane. Like, Zayd did some crazy shit to Adeline. But this motherfucker did some crazy shit. Like, bro. Hey, we'll get into it next week, though. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I will see you guys tomorrow for the Patreon episode. Yeah, and then next week we'll be, getting on with this book. So, love you guys all. Appreciate you. See you guys tomorrow, and peace.